everyone, this tutorial is on my Dragon Lady dress. It's a mermaid style dress and I made it out of non-stretchy fabric by adding elastic to the sides. I started with this scrap piece of fabric. I don't even know what it is, but it looked really pretty and had a really nice color and shine. And this is my first time smocking. So I used this arrow smocking technique that I came across on YouTube, and I will link this tutorial down below. Then once I smocked that panel and I thought it would be wide enough for the front of my dress, I wrapped myself in plastic and tape like I make all my patterns. I will put a tutorial on how I do this in the description as well. I put the panel in front of me to see where it would fall and then made my pattern based on that piece. I very carefully cut myself out of it and then I cut up my pattern. I just used half of it so I could get it symmetrical on both sides. I ended up with one front piece, one side piece and one back piece for both sides, so 6 panels in total, like this. I took some newspaper and I used that to make the pattern for the bottom part of my dress, so the mermaid tail type part. And for this part I pretty much just eyeballed the shape that I thought I wanted, and it is shorter in the front and then longer in the back. Once I was happy with my pattern, I put it on some non-stretchy fabric. I actually used a old curtain, and it looks like I have a lot of seam allowance, but I actually left about a centimeter of seam allowance. Because I was using non-stretchy fabric while I wanted my dress to be skin tight, I ended up leaving a bunch of extra seam allowance on that 2 side panels. This way I could put some elastic in it by shearing it. I couldn't really find any tutorials on doing it for this type of application, so I wasn't sure if it was gonna work, but it did. I marked rows about 5 centimeters down. So I used my actual pattern to figure out how long the elastic had to be, and I made it a little longer than that pattern piece. I put a pin at the beginning of the elastic, at the seam, and at the end, and then I pulled the elastic tight so I could put a pin in the middle so I could divide the elastic evenly, and then while pulling on the elastic I zigzagged it in place. Next I sewed all those panels together so I could try it on, and because of the elastic and the non-stretch fabric, I didn't like that it didn't hug my waist, so I ended up putting a old belt in between those seams right at my waist. So I just seam ripped a piece of that seam and sewed it in between. Next I pinned in that front panel with the smogging so I could decide on my neckline, and after I did, I folded over that hem twice so I could stitch it in place. I ended up hand sewing that smocked panel on the front, and then I sewed in my back zipper. I just used a regular zipper because I feel that they're stronger than a hidden zipper, and I will end up making a spine for over this dress. When I put on the dress, I realized that my hem was a bit uneven and it was shortest in the sides instead of in the front. So I put some spare fabric underneath my hemline, and then I cut it exactly in the same shape as the bottom of my hemline. And then I cut that fabric into the round shape that I wanted my final dress to be. I pinned it right sides together at the bottom seam, and then I could hem the entire dress by folding it over a centimeter and centimeter again and then top stitching it in place. I realized that my dress would get really dirty because it was dragging on the floor, so I ended up buying a shower curtain because that's a bit more rigid, it's easier to clean, and it was really cheap. If I ruined this layer, I could just cut it off and replace it. So I put that entire hem of my dress on top of my shower curtain and then measured how wide I wanted this layer to be and then cut it out. I ended up with about a 20 centimeter wide border on the front, which didn't really hit the floor that much because it was shorter than the back, so it didn't have to protect my dress. And then in the back I didn't cut out as much fabric in the inside circle, so in the back my dress doesn't hit the floor, only this layer of shower curtain hits the floor. And then I hand sewed this entire layer to the bottom of my dress. But that's it. That's how I made my dragon lady dress from some old curtains. I will try to make a tutorial on the spine as well because it really hides the zipper well and it ties in the whole dragon look. If you want to see more tutorials like those wings, you can subscribe to my channel. If you want to see more pictures of this costume, you can check out my Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for watching!